My coming out story is crazy.
Yeah.
I was in my Virgo bag, feeling myself, hormones is raging, all the things. And my dad walked in on me with a girl in high school. Yep. And he walked in on me doing the deed that you're a lesbian. There could have been lots of deeds. He walked in on the one though.
Yeah.
He saw that. He saw his little girl.
He was going crazy.
Going nuts. Doing the things, showing her what I got.
Hey,
yeah, that was a terrible day thereafter.
Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Dad. What was the conversation after that? First of all, did you stop? And then did homegirl like, or did he stop you, or did he just like?
Yeah. So oh my gosh, what a terrible moment to relive. I feel safe with you. So
there's some kid out there that's having this experience right now, and that's gonna say, okay, I'll be okay. I'm gonna live.
Yeah.
Like my parents put me out, but they're gonna like let me back in. Like I'm gonna be okay.
Make it. Yeah. I promise you're gonna make it. But the first thing I'm telling you right now is you shouldn't be in your parents' house who pay your rent, busting down anybody. Worry about school. Worry about the sports. Stop worrying about these girls.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
First
things first. Anyway, I think I'm slick. I closed the door. I'm not allowed to lock doors in my house at the time, right? Because immigrant parents, I don't even know why you got your door closed. Because they don't believe in privacy. Yeah. What are they talking about? I turn my MTV Jams up. It's after school. I'm like, oh, it's about to go up. And sure enough, right when it got good and going, my dad, like, he just opened the door. And we both jumped up. He heard her. And we both jumped up. And I was like, oh, shit. And she was like, oh, my God. And I'm like, yo, you got to get out of here. Because when my mom gets home, she's going to kill you.
Yeah.
And me, but she's definitely going to kill you.
Yeah.
My dad's like, all right, this is what you do. He's pissed. Very, very sarcastic man in his very thick accent. He's just like, this is what you do. And I'm like, looking at him. He's looking at me. And he's like, let's call your mom. Let's tell her the good news. He's pissed. And then I'm like, you got to go. Tell the girl to go. He's like, nah, let her stay. That's your girlfriend or whatever, right? And I'm like, yo, you got to get out of here. You got to go. So she leaves. My mom comes home. It's my mom's ripping the sheets off the bed. She's going nuts, saying all types of crazy, vulgar things to me. And it got kind of bad. Like they didn't talk to me for probably the rest of that school year until I popped up with a boyfriend, and then they were like, oh, okay, like we're good now. It was
a phase. You was just experimenting.
Yeah. I mean, they was rough. They like stopped my best friends from coming over. Cause as parents, they're like, we don't know
who's who.
Who is who.
Yeah.
When we don't care what they look like, mask, fam, it don't matter to us. No, none of these bitches can come over here anymore.
None of them. Not that one.
None of them. So it was tough. It was tough. I remember my mom being like, God bless her and my dad, because we have really come a long way. They are my best friends now. We talk about everything. But at the time, I remember my mom being like, what did she say? She's like, the only reason why I don't kick you out is because you're my child. And it's like, I think a lot of people don't understand that. I think it's like 80% of youth homelessness is queer youth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
drug users, all that.
Yeah. So it just sucks. It just sucks. It was rough. But we're great now.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was high school. Where'd you go to college?
Florida Southern.
Okay. So how was Florida Southern with the joints?
It was a private Christian college where I hooped at a private Christian college. And that was also weird. It was a weird experience because you're still navigating your sexuality at the time. Some people, I mean, for me, I still had like micros. So I was given tomboy. I wasn't given mask. I was giving just this sports girl.
Yeah.
I don't think I really fell into my just fully being masked and being all right with that identity anyway, until I cut my hair.
Yeah.
And I cut my hair after a breakup, and I got my first little lineup, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, I feel a little different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I feel that. I had I remember I cut my hair. I think same, because I was wearing the braids. I was doing the whole thing. I think I cut my hair. I had to be a junior in college.
Yeah.
And I cut like I had a one blade, a Caesar, like
whoa,
Brooklyn haircut, like waves.
You went for it.
The whole thing. Yeah. Well, it's a funny story. And I have to tell it because my wife's gonna watch this episode and she's gonna be like, why you didn't tell him about how you cut your hair? So I was cutting my hair and but I was like cutting my actual hair, like with a pair of scissors.
Yeah.
And I fucked my whole hair up. Like I fucked it up. So that's basically how I ended up going to get an actual haircut. Like I kind of had to. And I was like, man, just take it off, like, you know. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it was kind of like this bad experience that turned into like a very liberating thing. Like, oh, like we good now. I have braids now. Like I've grown it back since COVID, and like, you know, in between there, done little afros, a little, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know, you had the mohawk joint going, like, you know, you do little variations, but like, yeah, cutting the hair is definitely that's the entryway to like, okay,
that's it.
Out here now.
When you cut the hair, it's different. That's like
different.
That's like our coming out.
Yeah, it really is. It really, because at that point it's like, all right, well, people shouldn't do this, but they don't even question it anymore. They're not like, oh, is she like a tomboy or is she like, no. Like you cut the hair, it's like, okay, yeah, she's definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's so deep, right? Like there's so like the quest for liberation for Black women specifically, I don't know, it's just such a quest. And I think so much, we know that so much is attached to our hair as we've been taught this, right? Like from getting perms to getting, you know, weaving your hair, whatever. So much of our identity is attached to our hair. So cutting your hair is like hella liberating, or just as I could imagine, just as liberating as deciding to wear your natural hair for once, you know?
Yeah, because it's such a because all of it is related to, you know, beauty standards and how you show up if you're, well, fitting into the box, right? Like it's so far out of the box. Like wearing your natural hair is so far out of the box. Cutting your hair as a woman is so far out of the box because people can't, that it makes people think. Like it makes people kind of have to dig more into you than just like, okay, is she just a woman or is that a man? It makes them ask more questions, and I think that's the challenge that people have, is like, I don't understand.
Right.
So now you've done this thing, you've cut your hair, you're wearing your hair natural, like wait, like is this even acceptable? And you're like, well, why isn't it acceptable? And that makes people have to consider more things, and that's the part that makes it challenging, because for us it's like we've been living with ourselves forever. Like we know who we are, but now making everyone else comfortable with that is like such a hard process that most people just decide not to do it. They're like, I don't even want to be bothered with that. Like, I'll just keep my hair. I'll just press it. I'll just, you know, wear the braids or whatever, just to make people not ask me. I mean, like, I don't even want them trying to understand, you know? Yeah. So it's a wild journey. But for you, fashion over time. So tomboy kind of all through grade school, cut the hair. When were you like, you know, flare jeans with a baggy shirt, jersey with the, you know what I'm saying, crop pants, you know what I mean, the tight jeans on the bottom, loose fit on the top, maybe a hat every now and then? How was your fashion over time?
Yeah,